Hannah is waiting on a baby, but it's not time yet. And there's really no guarantee she will ever have the privilege. So I want us to go look at 1 Samuel 1 so we can see what's going on with Hannah. I'm just going to start in verse 6. We know that there is Hannah is one wife and Peninnah is another wife. And Peninnah has children and Hannah has none. And they're not getting along very well. And verse 6 says, and because the Lord had closed her womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. This went on year after year. Whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, her rival provoked her till she wept and would not eat. You know, I think there's a couple of things we can look at. Her rival was provoking her on purpose. And we have someone who is in our life constantly trying to do that, to hit us when we're down and when we're not handling all of the issues of life at our best. And they're provoking us constantly. So that's one thing I do think we see. But the other thing I think we see here is that sometimes our waiting and our distraughtness takes on physical manifestations. Hannah doesn't eat. Some of us eat too much. Some people just want to sleep all the time. Some of us just get really upset very easily. But it begins to take on these other physical manifestations. And when that happens to you and when it happens to me, I know I'm losing. I'm losing the battle. And so when waiting is involved, we need to understand that there's always the danger of losing heart, becoming discouraged, and abandoning our reliance, trust, and faith in God. There's always that danger. So, fortunately, there are mental breakthroughs that we are shown through Scripture of how we can work through this thing in victory and not in constant defeat. So that's what I want us to look for. I want you to see verse 10, what Hannah does. So her husband says to you in verse 8, why don't you eat? Why are you downhearted? Don't I mean more to you than 10 sons? And once they had finished eating and drinking in Shiloh, Hannah stood up. Now Eli the priest was sitting on a chair by the doorpost of the Lord's temple. In bitterness of soul, Hannah wept much and prayed to the Lord. She is in bitterness of soul. That is a common element of humanity. We can be in bitterness of soul because we are waiting for something that's not happening, or waiting for something to pass, or it's just not our turn. And that's where we find her. But we should let our waiting drive us to cling to the Father. It's the only thing she knew to do. And I will say, when I am in a desperate position like that, and I am at a point when I really need answers, it's the only thing I do that's right. I just know to cling. I just know that when I am in that situation, I need to just run to God. And so I pulled Psalm 74 straight out of my journal because I understand that sense that sometimes it's difficult to wait.